In my 4th year with my sworn rival, Shen Buyu. She lost her memory in a car accident. Her memory stopped at the year our relationship was at its most turbulent. When she saw the ring on my left ring finger, she sneered. Who would have to be blind to date you? A man or a woman? Do not tell me it is that senior you had a crush on, Luo Qingyue? That is hilarious. She actually got together with you? Congratulations. I hope you are happy. The moment she finished speaking, tears spilled from Shen Buyu's eyes. She covered her face tightly so I could not see. It is just sand in my eyes. Do not read into it. Yes, I am not crying because you married Luo Qingyue. Alright. Even with amnesia, she was still such a crybaby. As Shen Buyu soaked half her sleeve with tears behind her hands, I finally could not resist tugging at her sleeve. Alright, stop crying. I got married, not died. What are you crying for? What do you know? Shen Buyu shook off my hand, then let out a choked, shrill cry. I am crying because I am happy for my friend. What is wrong with crying? I will cry if I want to. I will cry even louder. Fine. 1 second ago, she claimed sand had gotten into her eyes, and that she definitely was not crying over my marriage. Now she said she was crying because she was happy for me. Shen Buyu's heart really changed by the second. I sat at the edge of the bed, picked up an apple, and began peeling it. As I peeled, I said, do not be sad. Even though I am married, you are still my good friend. How is that the same? Shen Buyu sniffled hard, putting on a heartbroken act. I nodded. They are different. You're my side piece. Shen Buyu froze. Her arms dropped stiffly, revealing her red-rimmed eyes, and a face full of disbelief. I shoved the peeled apple into Shen Buyu's mouth, looked out the window, and let out a long sigh. Since getting married, Luo Qingyue and I have spent little time together. She often goes abroad for her research and has no time for me. You happen to have far too much free time. So, you came running to be my mistress, doing things you should not every day in the marital home Luo Qingyue and I share. You even said you would be my mistress for life. Yesterday was our 4th anniversary, was it not? You were rushing back to cook for me, but you crashed into a tree. You said you would wear a maid outfit for me, then follow me around, bark like a dog, and wash my feet. Now look at you. You are an idiot who remembers nothing. What a shame. Shock was no longer enough to describe Shen Buyu's expression. Her eyes were stretched wide, staring at me in utter disbelief, as though I were some strange new creature. I raised an eyebrow. What? You do not believe me? With the apple clenched between her teeth, Shen Buyu stiffly shook her head. I raised my hand and pressed lightly against the middle of the blanket. Shen Buyu's expression changed at once. A moment later, Shen Buyu curled up on the bed. How did this happen? How did I become the other woman, the side piece at that? Damn it, world. You have been way too cruel to me. A wicked smile curled my lips. It gets worse. Your family went bankrupt. So, you had no choice but to give yourself to me as my mistress. Now you have nothing. A bedworming mistress making a living by serving me. Shen Buyu looked at me as if she had shattered. A moment later, she burrowed under the covers and wailed her heart out. Then she suddenly looked up and demanded, then am I the top or the bottom? I gave a wicked smile, suddenly wanting to tease her. After hearing my answer, Shen Buyu cried even louder. When I led Shen Buyu out of the hospital, she stared blankly at everything before her. She looked like a walking corpse. If the wind had blown any harder, it seemed as though it might blow her away. Shen Buyu's parents called. They both approved of my plan, thinking that while Shen Buyu had amnesia, we could finally fix her awful temper. So, all the way home, I told Shen Buyu all about how she normally acted as my mistress. Without my permission, she couldn't eat, go to bed, leave the house, or use her phone. She also had to meet my every need at all times. She had to prepare breakfast before I woke up, and warm my bed before bedtime. She could not reveal who she was in front of Luo Qingyue either. Besides, Luo Qingyue was far away abroad. By the time she returned, Shen Buyu would likely have regained her memory and turned the tables on me. When Shen Buyu did not answer for a long time, I turned to look at her. Did you hear me? Shen Buyu gave a weak hum. After we got home, Shen Buyu saw a huge framed photo standing in the living room. She stopped short, utterly confused. Without changing expression, I calmly explained. This is basically our wedding photo. I put it on display whenever Luo Qingyue is away. When she comes back, it has to be put away. Shen Buyu went still. Her head bowed completely. Her fist clenched tightly. I fought down the smile tugging at my lips, trying not to laugh out loud. Amnesiac Shen Buyu was so adorable. At dinner that night, Shen Buyu wore a stiff expression as she hurried about serving dishes. She even polished my place at the table until it gleamed. The servants watched, fighting desperately to suppress their grins. Once all the food had been served, Shen Buyu remained at the far end of the living room. On her lovely face, there was 30% humiliation and 40% dejection, 20% confusion, and the final 10%, when she secretly looked up at me, was a fleeting hint of hope. I pretended not to notice any of it. Only after a servant dished up Shen Buyu's meal and placed it on the table did I turn to her. I tried to make my voice sound displeased. Shen Buyu, why are you standing so far away? Come eat with me already. Shen Buyu pouted and did not move. I sighed. Forget it. If you are such an inadequate mistress, I will find someone else for the job. Shen Buyu jerked her head up. She crossed the room in a few quick strides and dropped into the chair opposite me. No. When did I say I was not coming to eat? Do not replace me. Throughout the meal, Shen Buyu ate heartily. Now and then, she shyly peeled shrimp and served me food. Seeing Shen Buyu look like a wrong little wife, I could not help laughing. That is more like it. This is how mistresses serve their patrons. You need to learn from them. Shen Buyu looked up blankly. Other mistresses? Everyone in our circle does it. Some people even keep fourth and fifth mistresses. I only keep you, and I treat you so well. You ought to repay my kindness. Shen Buyu pressed her lips together, and tears immediately began to fall. All right, she was going to cry again. Forget it. I would stop teasing her. That night, Shen Buyu should have been curled up under the covers early, half letting her eyes to tempt me, but she was nowhere to be found. Just as I was wondering where she was, and about to send a servant to find her, Shen Buyu peeked her head around the door. Her face was bright red, and she kept her head lowered, not daring to meet my eyes. I raised a brow and asked in confusion, Shen Buyu, what are you hiding behind the door for? Come warm my bed already. After a long while, Shen Buyu finally emerged from behind the door, fidgeting shyly. She wore a maid outfit that was clearly not her size. I stared at the white fabric, at the curve of her chest and the smooth line of her waist and hips, and burst out laughing. At the sound, Shen Buyu immediately looked up. Her eyes brimmed with humiliation, and her lips pressed into a tight line. Fang Xiu, what are you laughing at? I only did it because you told me to. Fine. If you do not like it, I will not wear it. With that, Shen Buyu tugged at her skirt and turned to leave. Stop, who said you could leave? Come here. Shen Buyu kept her face tight and reluctantly walked over to me. You've seen enough, right? Do whatever you want. I drew out my words. Oh. So you came to seduce me. I immediately pulled out my phone and took several pictures of Shen Buyu. Then I ordered her to give me a spin. Shen Buyu's face had gone utterly dark. As she turned, she complained. This outfit is too tight. I can't turn properly. I fought back a smile. That outfit was never meant for her to wear. It was meant for me. Before losing her memory, Shen Buyu had pestered me for ages. Before I agreed to let her buy it so I could wear it for her. Yet I never wore it. She did instead, and it looked unexpectedly good on her. After Shen Buyu spun around a few times, she had nearly bitten her lip bloody as she forced out, Are you done yet? I'm done. Let's sleep. Then I casually set my phone on the stand by the bed. Shen Buyu looked at the phone on its stand. Her face froze. Her voice came out terribly hoarse. Why you're filming a video too? I paused, following Shen Buyu's gaze to the phone on the stand. I finally understood what was going through her mind. Suddenly, I wanted to tease her again, so I curled my lips into a wicked smile. Yes, we film videos every time. Want to watch? Shen Buyu's face went dark, then pale, then dark again. She looked ready to collapse. Despair radiated from her entire body. She even closed her eyes. Tears slid from the corners of her upturned eyes. I couldn't resist. I took pictures of Shen Buyu looking like that too. Once her memories returned, I planned to let her admire them. When Shen Buyu finally stopped crying, I patted the empty space beside me. All right, time for bed. Shen Buyu bent down, ready to crawl beneath the covers, but I planted a foot on her shoulder. Go change your clothes. Shen Buyu immediately looked up at me in confusion. I looked at the injuries on her body from the car accident, bruises mottling her skin blue and purple. My heart ached for her. The doctor said you need proper rest. We can talk once your injuries have healed. But when those words reached Shen Buyu's ears, she took them the wrong way. For some reason, Shen Buyu suddenly lost her temper. She grabbed the pillow and lay down on the sofa. Fine, then don't, who cares? I scratched my head. I was only repeating the doctor's exact words. What was wrong with her now? Could it be she wanted to try being the one underneath too? Back then, over this very matter, Shen Buyu had given me no end of trouble. She'd shout that a woman's dignity could not be cast aside, yet cling to my hand in tears. Fang Xiu, I love you. Please don't leave me. I fucking love you to death. But look at her now. Apparently, her dignity could be set aside after all. Early the next morning, after enjoying Shen Buyu's morning service, I patted her cheek in satisfaction and carefully instructed her, "Be good and wait for me at home. Don't run around." Shen Buyu nodded with a dark expression, but the moment I arrived at the office, I found Luo Qingyue sitting in my office. Luo Qingyue raised her brows at me. "Fang Xiu, it's been a long time." Luo Qingyue had returned to the country to discuss a business partnership. As I looked at Luo Qingyue, whom I hadn't seen in for years, she was still unchanged from before. As warm and refreshing as a spring breeze, Luo Qingyue said. She had come back to represent her overseas company in discussions with me about the domestic market. She would be here for at least a month. She also invited me to visit our old university together, to revisit old haunts. No time like the present. I immediately changed into casual athletic clothes and went walking around campus with Luo Qingyue. Still, most of my memories of this campus were tied to Shen Buyu. As we walked, Luo Qingyue suddenly turned and asked with a smile, "By the way, how are things between you and Shen Buyu? Is she still always following you around and pestering you?" "We're married." I raised my left hand and wiggled the ring on my finger. I smiled at her. Luo Qingyue froze. Then she smiled as if she had known all along. She burst out laughing. "I knew you wouldn't be able to resist her. The way she looked at you, she practically wanted to devour you. But you were always focused on business. So many times, I watched Shen Buyu chase after you." Her teeth clenched in fury. I couldn't help laughing. "And whenever I got close to you, Shen Buyu's eyes would turn red from glaring." "No, it is too funny." Watching Luo Qingyue clutch her stomach as she laughed, I couldn't help smiling too. Shen Buyu was a real handful in college. Not only did she follow me around every day, insisting on accompanying me to eat, drink, and sleep, but she also chased off every one of my admirers like she was my official partner. She even secretly let the air out of Luo Qingyue's bike tires. When I caught her, Shen Buyu put her hands on her hips, looking utterly defiant. "So, what? She was the one trying to steal you from me first. Besides, Luo Qingyue obviously isn't trustworthy. What decent woman texts you at 3 or 4 in the morning? She must only be after your body. Don't let her fool you." Yet in the middle of the night, Shen Buyu had lain in my bed, eyes wide, asking, "Why didn't you wake me when you went to the bathroom? Don't you want me as your friend anymore?" Shen Buyu's absurdity made me furious. I shoved her right off the bed. The result was, Shen Buyu followed me around crying for 3 days and 3 nights. She cried herself dehydrated. I knew Shen Buyu was a crier, but I had no idea she could cry that much. At my wit's end, all I could do was let her use the excuse of being my friend to recklessly kiss me. Shen Buyu from 4 years ago really was like a fiercely protective mother hen. To clean up the mess Shen Buyu made 4 years ago, I specifically treated Luo Qingyue to lunch. By the time lunch ended and I returned to the office, it was already 2:30 in the afternoon. The moment I stepped into my office, I saw Shen Buyu sitting ramrod straight on the sofa. A thermos sat in front of her. I immediately thought, oh no, I'd forgotten Shen Buyu was bringing me lunch. So, when Shen Buyu looked up, I saw that her eyes were swollen red from crying, and she had cried so much that her white t-shirt was nearly see-through. Shen Buyu sniffled, her voice hoarse. "She's back, isn't she?" Then it occurred to me that she had probably heard from someone at the office that Luo Qingyue was here. I nodded. "What's wrong?" Had I known she was coming, I would not have come. Shen Buyu looked at me, forcing a strained, ugly smile. Great, she was jealous again. I sat beside Shen Buyu, ready to explain everything. But the second I sat down, Shen Buyu sprang up like a coiled spring. "Don't worry. I'll go home and pack my things right now. I definitely won't show my face in front of her." With that, Shen Buyu moved to leave. But as soon as she opened the door, she ran straight into Luo Qingyue. The instant Shen Buyu opened the door, she came face to face with Luo Qingyue. They were about the same height, standing there in the doorway, staring each other down. Even from behind Shen Buyu, I could feel the murderous aura rolling off her. Her face was cold, her shoulders drawn rigidly straight. Luo Qingyue looked at her, then at me. She clearly had no idea what was happening. Shen Buyu spoke first. "Move." Taking the hint, Luo Qingyue stepped aside. Shen Buyu shoved past her and left. She cut a particularly dashing figure as she left. If her cuffs had not still been wet, I might have believed it. I looked down at the thermos on the coffee table. The lid was still unopened. A sticky note was attached to its side. It bore Shen Buyu's crooked handwriting. Fang Xiu, only you are allowed to eat this. Below it, she'd drawn an ugly little dog's head. I stared at the note. My urge to laugh vanished at once. She had probably been waiting since noon. Instead of waiting for me to eat the meal, she'd watched Luo Qingyue enter my office first. Luo Qingyue stood at the doorway and pointed outside. What's wrong with her? Did she cry again? I rubbed my brow. I could only explain Shen Buyu's amnesia, including how I tricked her into believing she was my mistress. When Luo Qingyue heard it all, she laughed so hard she nearly had to hold onto the doorframe. Fang Xiu, aren't you afraid she'll tear you apart once her memories return? I am. Of course I'm afraid. But whenever I remember how Shen Buyu took advantage of me when I wasn't clear-headed and tricked me into registering our marriage, I just can't let it go. I picked up my phone and messaged the housekeeper. If Shen Buyu comes home and makes a scene about moving out, ignore her. The housekeeper replied quickly. President Shen hasn't returned. I stared at those words, and my heart suddenly sank. Shen Buyu's memories were stuck for years in the past. Stubborn, quick to cry, impulsive, and convinced she was my secret, shameful little mistress. If she did something drastic, it'd be too late for me to regret it. I called her immediately. She did not answer the first call, nor the second. After more than a dozen calls, all I heard was the cold automated tone. I had someone track the car she'd driven over. The location came through quickly. A remote suburb. Seeing the location, I was actually relieved. There was an abandoned little park there. Back in college, whenever Shen Buyu threw a tantrum, she'd run there. She'd sit on the swing and pretend to brood. On my way down, I picked up her favorite roast duck. By the time I found Shen Buyu, it was already dark. She sat on a swing, gently swaying. She was a fully grown woman, yet her swaying silhouette looked heartbreakingly unwanted. This little park had long been abandoned. The swing set was covered in rust. The street lamp beside it flickered on and off. Whenever Shen Buyu got jealous in college, she loved running here too. She'd claim she was cooling off, but really, she was waiting for me to coax her. Yet whenever I actually came, she'd always start with a few sarcastic remarks. For years had passed, and even amnesia hadn't cured her of that habit. I walked over quietly. I dangled the bag of roast duck in front of her. Want a duck leg? Shen Buyu looked up at me, and her eyes immediately reddened. She turned her face away. Why aren't you with Luo Qingyue? What are you doing here? You and your wife are reunited after so long. Besides walking around campus, don't you have other things to do? After saying that, she drove the knife in even deeper herself. Then again, you'd have all the time in the world to be together. I'm only a mistress who can't be seen in public. What right does a kept woman have to meddle in her patron's affairs? The more she spoke, the more grieved she became. Finally, she closed her eyes. Tears rolled straight down from the corners of her eyes. Don't worry. I won't give myself away in front of Luo Qingyue, and I won't appear before her again. Seeing her like this made my chest ache, even as I wanted to laugh. Shen Buyu was clearly my legally wedded wife, yet I tricked her into calling herself a mistress over and over. She had made herself this miserable. I set the roast duck beside the swing. Then I cupped her face in my hands and kissed her. Shen Buyu went completely rigid. I brushed my nose against hers. You will always be the person I love most. Shen Buyu's tears fell even harder. Then why did you marry Luo Qingyue? You don't love me at all. Great, she'd cry, my shirt soaking wet too. All I could do was explain. I didn't marry Luo Qingyue. You're the one I married. Shen Buyu looked at me coldly. Fang Xiu, stop making things up. How could you possibly be married to me? I'll never believe that. She left me speechless for a moment. She wiped away her tears again, as if she'd suddenly found her courage. Don't worry. I'll be your mistress. No matter what. I won't let Luo Qingyue find out. Fine. Very good. I told her the truth. But she wouldn't believe me. She couldn't blame me for keeping up the act. Once we got home, Shen Buyu began searching everywhere the moment she walked in. The living room, the dining room, the foot of the stairs. She even checked behind the vase. A housekeeper walked past carrying water. Seeing Shen Buyu acting as though she were hunting someone down, she nearly burst out laughing. Shen Buyu immediately shot her a cold look. What's so funny? The housekeeper set the glass on the tray and lowered her head, pretending not to exist. Only then was Shen Buyu satisfied. Like a big dog that had finished patrolling its territory, She returned to stand at my side. I leaned against the door and watched her. What are you looking for? She immediately dropped her guard and pretended to be calm. Where's Luo Qingyue? Why hasn't she come home? I drawled. She has another home outside, so she usually doesn't come back. Who knows when she'll ask me for a divorce? Shen Buyu's mouth fell open. She's seeing someone else, and you still won't divorce her? I nodded. It's not that serious. She only has 3 or 4 lovers. None of them are worth mentioning. They don't threaten my position. The moment I finished speaking, Shen Buyu slammed her fist onto the table beside her. The golden thread Namu table gave a dull thud. Her chest rose and fell sharply. Fang Xiu, do you love her that much? I kept nodding. Shen Buyu lifted her head, and clear streams of tears fell again. I never thought you were this kind of person. I have no respect for you. I have no respect for someone who'll be such a pathetic doormat for love. I finally couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed until my stomach hurt. The more Shen Buyu saw me laugh, the more exasperated she became. Then do you dare, right in front of Luo Qingyue, tell her that you're keeping me as your mistress too? I shook my head. Shen Buyu sucked in a breath, her face flushing red with fury. Fang Xiu, I have no respect for you. Though she said she had no respect for me. By nighttime, Shen Buyu still obediently lay down beside me. She clutched the corner of the blanket, her face red as if she'd just been pulled from hot water. Which one do you want tonight? I deliberately teased her. You want it. How did amnesia make you so clingy? You weren't like this before. Shen Buyu looked over at me blankly. Then, what was I like before? I held up one finger. Once a month. You said that stuff wasn't important to you. You thought love was all we needed. Shen Buyu opened her mouth. It was as if her entire worldview had collapsed again. When I was so sleepy I could barely keep my eyes open, she was still muttering softly beside me. How could that be? Once a month? That can't be right. Was I really that uninterested in sex? The next day, when I woke up, Shen Buyu was still asleep. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. She had probably spent all night thinking. I bent down and kissed her forehead. Good morning, wife. I'd planned to let her get some proper rest, but the moment I arrived at the office, Shen Buyu called. Her voice was terribly hoarse, and she sounded frantic. Didn't we agree we'd commute together starting today? Why did you leave without me? I patiently tried to explain. She wouldn't hear a word of it. I won't listen. I won't listen. I won't listen. In the end, I had no choice but to drive back and pick her up. When the two of us arrived back at the office building, all eyes turned toward us. Shen Buyu lifted her chin slightly. She looked like she was here to inspect her territory. All morning, she wandered around the executive office. Every so often, she'd stop an employee to ask, "Who visits President Fang's office most often?" The employee answered without expression, "You do, President Shen." Shen Buyu was satisfied. What about Luo Qingyue? Does she come often? The employees shook their head. Shen Buyu was even more pleased. Several department managers passed by as well. She called them over at once. Don't I usually bring Fang Xiu meals? The manager nodded. And does she only eat the food I bring her? The manager was silent for 2 seconds. Most of the time, yes. Hearing that, Shen Buyu stood even straighter. She even turned to glance at me. Her look practically said, "Did you hear that?" I could only pretend not to notice and look down at my documents. That afternoon, Luo Qingyue came to discuss a partnership. Shen Buyu's face immediately darkened. Arms folded, she sat between Luo Qingyue and me. She watched us the entire time. One moment, she'd stare at me and grin foolishly. The next, she'd glare at Luo Qingyue through clenched teeth. During the break, she even put a video on speakerphone. What makes a man devoted to his family? A man who neglects his family is destined to fail. If a man doesn't love you, let him go before it's too late. Half the office echoed with that relationship lecture. Holding her glass of water, Luo Qingyue was clearly trying not to laugh. After all, Shen Buyu had tormented her back in college. She even deliberately asked Shen Buyu, "After all these years, is there anyone you like? Want me to introduce you to someone?" Shen Buyu gave her a sit-along look. "There is. I'm just waiting for her to get divorced. Some people have eyes but still can't tell good from bad. They've even got a 4th and 5th lover on the side. The person she won't cherish, Shen Buyu, will cherish with all my heart." Luo Qingyue rose with a smile. "I'll step out for some air." As soon as she left, Shen Buyu raised an eyebrow at me. "How was that? I didn't give us away, did I?" I took a deep breath. "No, just don't play those videos on speaker. They're too loud." The office fell silent at once. Shen Buyu's face darkened. "What? Are you afraid she'll figure out our relationship?" Or are you afraid she'll divorce you? Fang Xiu, do you love her that much? I took her hand. Stop this. There is really nothing between Luo Qingyue and me. Everything I said before was a lie. You're the one I've been married to for 4 years. Everyone in the company knows it. Shen Buyu gave a cold laugh. Fang Xiu, you think I'm that easy to fool? I don't believe you. You just don't want me to expose myself in front of Luo Qingyue. Fine. I'll play along. I looked at her, suddenly feeling like I brought this on myself. When Shen Buyu finally couldn't hold it anymore and went to the restroom, Luo Qingyue returned to the office. Looking toward the door, she suppressed a laugh. Did you forget? Back in college, whenever you wanted to reject someone, you told everyone you liked me. Even after I went abroad, you still used me as an excuse. I let out a long sigh. I wished I could go back in time and sew my own mouth shut. Luo Qingyue asked again. Then why didn't you use Shen Buyu as your excuse back then? Or simply get together with her? I immediately sat up straight. That wouldn't work. Shen Buyu truly liked me. If I'd gotten together with her in college, I was afraid she wouldn't be able to control herself. In truth, she really hadn't controlled herself much. During that time, she pursued me with great fanfare. She also gave herself plenty of embarrassing stories. For instance, she'd always use bringing me milk as an excuse. I'd get sleepy soon after drinking it. When I woke up the next day, there would always be a few unexplained marks on my body. I asked her what happened. Shen Buyu brushed her teeth, giving me an innocent look. Maybe mosquitoes bit you. What about my sore back? The bed was too hard. And my aching legs? She said I slept restlessly. I laughed in disbelief. Then why didn't the mosquitoes bite you? Shen Buyu gave a smile she thought was flawless. Maybe my skin's too tough. Later, I poured out that glass of milk in front of her. Then I made her write a pledge. Shen Buyu cried miserably and clung to me. Fang Xiu, I love you. I fucking love you so much. So please don't leave me. That pledge is still locked in the study safe. The first rule, no slipping random things into anything I drank. The second, don't do anything while I'm not fully conscious. The third, if she did it again, she'd get the hell out and sleep in the guest room. When Shen Buyu signed it, her hands were shaking from crying. Afterward, she quietly called me heartless. I ignored her. Some things can be laughed off, but not this. Thinking of it, I couldn't help laughing. 2 minutes later, Shen Buyu returned. Luo Qingyue and I immediately schooled our expressions and picked up the contracts. We seriously resumed our business discussion. After Luo Qingyue left, Shen Buyu sat in my chair and spun around once. Did she go to her 4th or 5th lover's place? Aren't you going to stop her? She's your wife, after all. She put special emphasis on the word wife. Seeing how ready she was to bear her claws, I walked over, pulled out the chair, and sat on her lap. She has her 4th and 5th mistresses, and I have my own mistress. What? Is my mistress not going to take good care of her patron? Shen Buyu's ears immediately turned red. She stared at me for several seconds, then suddenly pulled me close. The door lock clicked shut. I didn't dwell on what happened next. I only remembered that Shen Buyu was very experienced. Yet she still claimed she didn't know how. Her face flushed. She hesitated for a long moment before saying, I don't know how. I nearly ground my back teeth to dust. Because I remembered. I previously lied and told her she was the one on the bottom. Perfect. I dug this hole myself. And now I had to fill it. I raised a hand and covered her mouth. Shen Buyu, you'd better remember. There are people all over the office outside. She nodded obediently, but her hands still gripped my waist. In the end, I could only push half the documents aside. Then I turned the phone on its stand face down. Some scenes shouldn't leave evidence behind. After that day, Shen Buyu was visibly more energetic. She was even more openly hostile to Luo Qingyue. Whenever Luo Qingyue came to discuss business, she would deliberately tug my collar down a little. Fang Xiu, why have mosquitoes bitten your neck again? Then she'd push up her own sleeve. What a coincidence. I have some on my hand too. At first, Luo Qingyue could still tolerate it. Later, she started drinking water constantly, or turning to stare out the window. I didn't want to look either. Really. At last, we finalized the partnership details. Once we inspected the company in America, we could sign the contract. Shen Buyu rested her chin on my shoulder again. I'm going to America too. What if Luo Qingyue gets handsy with you? I need to protect you. I didn't agree. So she gave me the cold shoulder. On the 3rd day of our Cold War, I booked my flight to America. Before leaving, I tugged at Shen Buyu, who was clutching the blanket tightly and refusing to turn and look at me. I'll only be gone for a week. I'll be back soon. Be good, wait for me at home, and look after the company. Shen Buyu ignored me. Feeling foolish, I left on my own. Before the plane took off, I couldn't resist sending her a message. Your favorite roast duck sauce is in the fridge. The first aid kit is in the second drawer in the living room. Drink less iced stuff at night. Shen Buyu took a long time to reply. Oh, just one word. It was so cold. I could see her pout through the screen. At the time, I was still thinking. The doctor said concussion-related amnesia usually clears up within 2 months. In 1 month, I'd have enough time to keep teasing this younger Shen Buyu. But when I came back with a 100 million yuan contract, Shen Buyu merely gave me a cold glance. Oh, you're back? Smiling, I went to coax her. Don't be mad. I'm planning to divorce Luo Qingyue in a month. Shen Buyu still looked indifferent. Oh. I placed the gifts I brought back from America in front of her. A watch, a commemorative pin from her favorite team, and a black shirt I'd seen at the airport that seemed perfect for her. Shen Buyu gave the shirt only a glance. Buying so many things for your little one. Aren't you afraid Luo Qingyue will find out? That wave of jealousy made my temples throb. Something fell off. So I held her face and studied it carefully. Her eyes were still clear. She still seemed like the college girl I'd fooled completely. Had her memory really not returned? To make it up to her, I could only keep coaxing her. But Shen Buyu pulled out that Maid outfit from before. Put this on, and I won't be mad anymore. I fell silent, but in the end, I put it on. Over the next half-month, Shen Buyu found all kinds of ways to make me coax her. One day, it was the Maid outfit. The next, an animalier headband. The day after that, she'd dig up a pile of strange clothes from who knew where. Every time, she'd first pretend to be pitiful. Honey, my head hurts. Honey, I think I can't remember things again. Honey, if you don't comfort me, I might not be able to sleep tonight. I knew her act was completely fake, but whenever I saw her sitting by the bed with red eyes, clutching a pillow, she always managed to fool me again. At first, I could put up with it. After all, I was the one who first tricked her into acting like a kid. By her second-month follow-up, I took Shen Buyu to the hospital for a whole battery of tests. When the results came in, the doctor said her brain function was normal again. But Shen Buyu's memories still hadn't returned. Even the doctor was puzzled. People recover differently. Perhaps Miss Shen needs a little more time. Shen Buyu's tears immediately began to fall. Honey, I'm not going to become stupid, am I? I could only reassure her. You won't. She cried even harder. Then, wear that new outfit tonight, and I'll stop crying. I frowned. Which one? Shen Buyu immediately pursed her lips. Forget it if you don't want to. Seeing as her tears were about to drown her. Even if I didn't want to, I had no choice but to agree. Another month passed. The follow-up results were the same. Shen Buyu still claimed she couldn't remember. That was when I started to suspect her. But she usually still acted dazed and clueless. And calling me honey came more naturally to her than anyone. Whenever she got jealous, she still had that love-struck college girl look. I could only set my suspicions aside for the moment. Then one day, I opened the closet. It was stuffed with every kind of outfit. Maid costumes, shirts, bow ties. There were even several outfits I had no idea when she'd bought. Looking at that closet full of clothes, my anger surged. Shen Buyu was playing games in her gaming chair. I yanked her to her feet and dragged her to the closet. Shen Buyu, are you still going to keep pretending? She blinked. Honey, what are you talking about? I gave a cold laugh. Keep pretending, and I'll go to America to find Luo Qingyue right now. Shen Buyu's gaze instantly sharpened. You wouldn't dare. Case closed. 1 second, she claimed she couldn't remember a thing. The next, she heard the name Luo Qingyue, and her eyes were sharper than the company's legal team. I looked at her. Shen Buyu looked back at me. We stood silent for 3 seconds. She finally realized she'd given herself away. Her throat bobbed. She immediately put on an innocent expression. Honey, that was just an instinctive reaction. I let out a derisive laugh. Then your instincts are pretty precise. I was so angry, I nearly laughed. Shen Buyu, you actually dared to fool me. I pressed her. When did you get your memory back? Shen Buyu's eyes darted away. The day you left for America. Actually, I remembered as soon as you walked out the door. I turned her face back toward me. So, you've been pretending for over a month. Shen Buyu's voice grew quieter and quieter. Not the whole time. At first, I wanted to know whether you'd really come back. Then I realized you'd really come for me. So I didn't quite want to wake up. After saying that, she added quietly, You hardly ever used to spoil me like this. I watched her fingers clutch the hem of her clothes. My breath caught in my chest. Yet I couldn't bring myself to scold her. She really had a talent for this. She was clearly the one in the wrong. But somehow she was the one who looked wronged in the end. I'm not talking to you anymore. I turned and headed outside. Shen Buyu immediately ran after me. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to pretend. I just thought you looked so adorable when you coaxed me. I walked faster and faster. The more she chased me, the more panicked she became. By the time she reached the door, her voice was trembling with tears. Fang Xiu, don't go. I stopped. Shen Buyu's eyes immediately lit up. Honey, you forgive me. Keeping my face stern, I huffed. Don't even think about it, unless you put on every outfit in that closet, and let me see them all. Shen Buyu froze. Her lips formed a soft pout. After a long moment, she nodded shyly. All right, honey. I promise. Seeing how wrong she looked, yet how unable she was to hide her delight, I finally couldn't hold back my smile. Over that year, Shen Buyu fooled me, and I fooled Shen Buyu. Neither of us was easy to handle, but the rings were still on our fingers, and we were still by each other's side. So we'll just keep each other in check. After all, our life together was only just beginning.